Hey everybody, this is Doug with Artfully Rogue, and you're not going to guess what YesWelder just launched. It is the MP200, a multi-process machine with 5 different processes. It's got the MIG, it's got gasless MIG, it has TIG, and it has stick and plasma cutting. You've got to see this. When you open the box, you get the MP200, you get the ground cable, you get the MIG gun, you get the lift TIG gun and a package of consumables, and you get the plasma cutting torch. Not to mention your gas line for your MIG process, your air line for your plasma cutting process, a small hammer and brush for your stick process, a filter, and a pressure gauge for when you're doing your plasma cutting. All right, let's turn on the MP200 and let's walk through some of the processes right here on the YesWelder screen. Okay, to select your process, go to Home, use the right dial to switch between your different processes. Before you get started, land on Settings and push the button, and you can select between inches and millimeters, or factory reset. Because we're here in the States, we're going to the inches. And we're loaded, ready to go. Let's go back home and let's start with the first process, lift TIG. Let me show you how easy this thing is to set up. Simply push the select button and now you're set to lift TIG. Follow the diagram here to make sure that all your cables are put in properly. It's important to pay attention to the different icons that they have just below the connection areas. This is your configuration for lift TIG. Your grounding clip and your TIG cable. Your gas line straight to an argon tank. Next process, select Home, turn the dial. Now let's look at plasma cutting. Select, and we're going to set it up just like they show you here. This is your setup for plasma cutting. And don't forget, hook yourself up to an air compressor that runs through the filter that they gave you. And the next process, MMA, stick welding. For stick welding, your ground clamp goes in the negative, and your actually stick welding clamp goes into the positive. The next process we're going to take a look at is MIG. So for gas MIG, your ground clamp goes into the negative, your MIG gun goes into its very own socket. And last but definitely not least, gasless MIG. This is where you're going to need a flux core wire. But let's show the setup. For the gasless MIG, the MIG gun goes in its port, the ground clamp goes into the negative port. But there's one more thing that you have to do before you can actually weld gasless MIG. So in order to weld gasless, you have to switch the polarity. So remove these 2 wires and switch them. Now you should be able to run your gasless MIG. For all other processes, these wires need to go back the way they are right now. Red on the positive, black on the negative. Okay, so that's a quick rundown of how to set up each one of the processes on the MP200. Now, let's put it to the test and give it some action. Let's go ahead and see what I got. Alright, well, I mean, it's a nice weld. I mean, it's just what you would expect, you know, from a MIG. Okay, so that's a little high. So I mean, it does stick weld. I just probably have to dial it in. Well, it definitely works. I'm just not good at doing lifting, so. Okay, the process definitely works. I just need to get better at it. So I hope that gave you a glimpse into the MP200's capabilities. A multi-process welder that has 5 processes that you may use in your shop. I'm sure that we're going to be doing some videos later down the line that goes into more detail about the settings and how to use this product on different materials. But until that time, check out the MP200 and let me know what you think.